here, and I'm joined by Jace.
In the studio, people. Manchester United versus Arsenal, and 8 wins in a row. Can you believe it? Can you honestly believe it? The run that United is on at the moment is unbelievable, because obviously the circumstances around the way that this team was not more than 2 months ago. We were in strife and moving further and further down the ladder. But the introduction of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer obviously has changed the fortunes of the club. Yes, this was obviously an FA Cup game and doesn't equate to the Premier League table. But what it does do is it says that United are refreshed and a challenger now for top 4, which we weren't, as I say, just a few months ago. Let's start with the game, obviously, because that's probably the biggest talking point at the moment. Manchester United 3, Arsenal 1. And it's a first half where United dominated Arsenal. Let's be completely honest. And players that step up when they're needed in Sanchez and Lukaku. Lukaku assisted both goals, obviously. Sanchez scoring the first, Jesse Lingard scoring the second. But, all through the work of that interplay between Lukaku on that right-hand side and bringing the other two into the game was fantastic to see, because it was effective. And we said before the game that Manchester United and Lukaku in particular, as well as Sanchez, needed to get back into that form that obviously held them in the stead of being world-class players. And we saw that from the two of them. Shan, what was your take on the game pretty much?
I thought we played fantastically, of course, doing it at their stadium. Not always easy. And yes, it's the FA Cup, but Ollie needs to perform on all levels, and he's doing so. So, thankfully, the boys are gelling. They're playing fantastically. Getting Sanchez to come back into the squad and have the effect that he had, I thought was fantastic, because a fit and in-form Alexis Sanchez is a dangerous weapon. Playing Jesse up front as a striker, I thought that was a brave move, but paid off in a lot of the senses that we played fantastically going forward. Now, our counter-attack was brilliant, and against Arsenal, you need that, because they play their tiki-taka style. It's very hard to dispossess them of the ball. So I thought we did that well. And of course, having Lukaku back in the squad playing on the right-hand side, it looks like it suits him to get those 2 assists. So hopefully we see more of that.
Hopefully we do. We've obviously been screaming out for a player on that right-hand side to be creative and be a force to obviously shift the play, because United have been unbalanced. Obviously, a lot of our players have been going through that the left-hand side, whether it's Martial or Rashford playing on that side, or Sanchez at times. We've always been dependent on the ball going up that left-hand flank and then playing it into the middle. Obviously, we saw Lukaku go through his downturn where we didn't have much supply going into the box. He was getting 1 or 2 chances a game and really wasn't taking the sitters that he did get at times. Obviously, having changed and brought Rashford into the middle and making him the focal point of our attack obviously meant that he took the opportunities that came. He was more instrumental, more energetic than Lukaku naturally is, because he gets up and down the pitch. He moves from right to left. He can play on either flank. And we saw a lot of quality coming from that. Lukaku needed to find something where he gets a chance in the squad. It's obviously not going to be back in the Premier League we're talking about now. It's obviously not going to be up top, because Rashford is in just inspired form, and you can't break him out of that. Resting him for this FA Cup game was probably the best thing we could have done. I said in the pre-match video that Sanchez and Lukaku needed to start. That's exactly what happened, because it meant that Martial had a bit of a rest, and Rashford obviously had a bit of a rest as well. But their involvement in this particular game, Sanchez and Lukaku, was fantastic. We obviously saw them paired up with a lot of the other players that have played most of the minutes in the Premier League under Oli, in Pogba, Matic, Herrera. Jesse, playing a big part there as well. We know now what our best 11 is, and all we're doing is using the players that we have in our arsenal, excuse the pun, in our arsenal, to come in and give the guys that are obviously playing a lot of minutes, to give them a bit of a break. So United to get a win against a full-strength Arsenal side who have been flying as of lately, especially in their attacking sense. They've obviously got Aubameyang and Lacazette, who couldn't really get free or impact the game much. Look, Aubameyang obviously got his goal after a good piece of play. Lacazette got a toe to it and almost poked it in, but it just went past him. But Aubameyang was there to scoop it in. So there are some frailties still in our defense that we need to strengthen up. But in the game where you're scoring 2 goals in the first half within the first 30 to 35 minutes, it suggests that United are starting games positively, whereas before under Mourinho, a lot of the times we were needing to concede before going ahead and scoring a goal. So glad to see that we're getting off early and taking the game to the opposition, especially big opposition like Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium. Was fantastic to see. And the rest of the game pretty much was a formality after what had happened in the first half, because United were able to see out the victory. And they did it quite strongly. Obviously in the second half, Martial coming on and scoring his goal was also great to see. I mean, Pogba with that absolutely cracking shot that Czech couldn't hold. And Martial, cool, calm, collected, as he always does, side-footed into the goal. Fantastic to see. Really happy with that one. And obviously we go through to the next round of the FA Cup, where we might meet City, Chelsea, a few other big names there that we need to be careful of. But we'll take this one for what it is. The 8th win under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Let's hope it can roll at least to 10 in a row, because that'll mean that we push up and we push well past Arsenal, who we're actually even on the ladder with at the moment. They're just beating us by goal difference. Hopefully, United keeps on their winning form and scoring as many goals as we have been scoring, and we should be higher up in the table. Guys, I want to thank you for joining us. Shan, thanks for being in the studio. Guys, please comment, subscribe, like, and share. Check us out on all our social media platforms. And we'll see you for the preview of the next game in the Premier League, which is Burnley. Thanks for joining us, guys. Shot.